technical experts about energy and water efficiency and best practices. This year, we had the Rota de Energia first summer school for students in middle school, secondary school, and university. The objective of this initiative was to educate and inform about the energy field and the diverse green career paths available. We are also working with the Ministry of Labour, Solidarity and Social Security and the National Renewable Energy Association to establish a new professional training center for the energy transition to ensure that the right skills are delivered to the existing workforce, namely to the professionals that are affected by the fossil fuel phase-out. This center is based in Sines, an industrial area in transition to be a hub for green hydrogen. A study developed by ADENE for the Portuguese presidency of the European Energy Network could not be clear. Our role as an energy agency is to improve the information availability for citizens, particularly youth, but also for decision makers, aiming to influence policy and promote a better regulation. To do this, we need to evolve in this debate not only the education and training sectors, but also the technical stakeholders such as our guests. This will better inform policy making by helping to anticipate market demands, develop policies to foster green jobs, monitor the market and update new needs, and foster measures that attract and retain talent. To do all this, we need to keep promoting cross-sectoral knowledge. We know that skills are one of the main bottlenecks for investments, and this is hindering our ability to meet climate action targets worldwide regarding the climate and digital transitions. So, together, let's not only create green jobs, but also make every job greener along the way. Now I will ask Ellen to present our guests and moderate the roundtable. The Mario.
Thank you, Ana Paula. It's always good to start with a definition. So, according to ILO, a green job is a decent, and I underline decent job, that contributes to preserve and restore the environment, be they traditional or emerging sectors. Globally, we hear more and more about green jobs and green skills, and for sure, these embody an opportunity for a fairer transition, representing better opportunities for white and blue-collar jobs. We do see the ambition in green jobs growing. We saw on the last COP 27 that ILO, UNEP, and UNICEF they joined and put forward a very ambitious program, the Green Jobs for Youth Pact, which we are keen to hear more about during this COP. And also on the European side, we are in the European Union put forward the European Skills Agenda, and we are currently yet on the European Year of Skills, 2023. However, if we do not play this well, and I'm sorry for the sound, if we do not do this well, this will be a missed opportunity to create a fairer society, to close the gender pay gap, and to address, as Ana Paula was just saying, to address the higher job insecurity women are exposed to. We also need to create the right conditions so highly skilled energy workers, current highly skilled energy workers, can channel their experience and knowledge towards the renewable energy industry sector. So with that, I'll present you our guests. And this was Ana Paula. I think I hope you knew. And here are our guests. So we have Bill Kent from the Association of Energy Engineers. We have Federico Barbieri, the president of the board of directors of the European Youth Energy Network. We have Laura Melo Maru. She's from Business as Nature. And we have Mayra Al-Shalaf. Good. Hope that's close enough. I'm sorry for that. Co-chair of the Student Energy Summit 2023. I'll start I'll make some questions to you. I start by Bill. You have more of a global perspective, and in the end of this panel, we'll let you know more about this global perspective. But we would like to know, with this perspective of a growing skills development needs. I mean, more and more need some new skills for this green transition. How do you foresee the labor market evolution, and what are the areas you think we should be concerned about on this evolution in trends of the labor market?
Thank you very much, Heldar, and it's my pleasure to be here this morning. It's, I think, a youth panel, and I think they may have picked the wrong person here, so we certainly have a lot of youth. Thank you, though. I'm with the Association of Engineers. We are a global nonprofit membership-based society. Engineers, a large network, over 30,000 around the world, that focus on commercial and industrial energy efficiency. And we've been doing energy efficiency for more than 4 decades. And so that is our space. And I think directly to answer your question, Heldar, is where do I see the current market and trends? I think, just to sum it up in one word, we have a shortage, a massive shortage in skilled professionals at every level within the green industry. Every year we do a survey of the energy industry, including our members, and the data from this year, more than 75% of the members currently see a shortage of professionals within the green job market. So that's a massive call to action. Coupled with that, the traditional workforce in this arena is maturing and retiring, and almost 50% of those we surveyed will be retiring in the next 10 years. So I think when we see the growth of the energy industry, the green and the renewable industry, coupled with the retiring workforce, we see a shortage really across the full spectrum. So I think we see that, and I think it's here within COP with the goals to triple the deployment and investment in renewable energies and doubling the rate of energy efficiency. That's going to create even more demand for green jobs, and really across the board. High-level energy engineers, all the way down to those who are manufacturing green products, who are moving the products around with transportation, technicians, students, all the way up and through the chain. So we see a shortage, and we see skills development across the full range. Certainly great to be here with some younger representatives within the industry. We have student chapters at universities around the world. We invest in scholarships. Just like to highlight one of our members that's here, Dr. Fatou Al Ragoon. She's with the Kuwait Institute of Scientific Research. When she was an engineering student doing her PhD in the U.S. at the University of Florida, she received an AEE scholarship to study. And since then, she's been an active member, and she was our 4th international woman president. So getting someone, student involved and women involved in this industry also. So we award, over $1.5 million in student scholarships to date. And so massive shortage. I can get into more details, but I think just as an initial summary, that's where we see things. There's going to be increased demand and a shortage across all areas of green jobs.
Thank you, Federico. I didn't say that, but sure, make an introduction what you are representing. Thank you, Bill, for assuming that that was necessary. Indeed, it was. So next we go to Federico. ADENE, which you are here representing, organized the European Youth Energy Forum together with ADENE, the first edition. It was held in Lisbon in 2022, and the second one just happened in Berlin last month. In your opinion, what are the main results that came out of this forum that can provide inputs for the needs or to outputs that improve the outlook of the younger generation or young people, and what concrete actions towards ensuring that these young people, have the right skills to join the green workforce?
Thank you, thank you. So maybe first a comment to what Bill said. So you don't need to be a young person to contribute to projects for young people. And we just had a chat outside, and I think what you're doing in providing resources to local university is great. So keep doing that. And I would like to take this opportunity also to thank ADENE, which was the first organization that supported us for our first project, which was the European Energy Forum. And I think you are one of the pre-seed investors of ADENE, and I think you created this flagship event. We supported this flagship event. We didn't just do the first edition in Portugal, but also the second edition in Berlin. I'll give more details on that. But first, I would like to give you a bit more details about my journey. So my dream was to become an engineer since the beginning. And I wanted to ask, I think, the audience, how many engineers do we have here? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so keep your hands up, please. So are you still doing engineering work? If not, lower your hand. Okay, yeah, so that's interesting because that was also my journey. So I went to Polytechnic of Milan to study energy engineering. Then I went to Stockholm to study energy engineering. I went to Lisbon to study energy engineering, and now not an engineer anymore. So now what I do is energy policy, and I work in Brussels especially on energy markets. And also in parallel, I co-founded the European Energy Network, which focuses on creating projects for young people, young professionals, students and professionals in the energy transition. And one of these projects is called European Energy Forum. The concept is very simple. It's basically we select 40 to 50 young people across Europe. By Europe we mean expanded, not European Union, but we go beyond the borders. So we have people from North Macedonia. We selected 40 to 50 young people from 26 different countries. We prepared them for 2 months, making them understand what the policy process, how to propose a policy, how to engage with the different stakeholders. And then we bring them, all the 50 of them, to one city for 4 days to have panel discussion and to propose something, right? Because we don't like events, you just discuss, you shake hands, and then nothing comes out. So in the first edition, the participants came up with 12 proposals, and to improve youth engagement in the energy transition in academia, private, and public sector. And surprisingly, 6 out of 12, so 50%, deals with green jobs, or with education, how to educate young people towards green jobs, which also I think shows the interest of young people in moving in that direction, right? So then the challenge, of course, is to turn these proposals into concrete actions, which is something that we do as the European Youth Energy Network. And in the second edition, we focus on specific proposals, on 6 proposals, try to improve them. By the next year, you should see some other new projects launch. But the European Energy Forum will happen again next year. We are looking for a host country, so in case you would be interested in hosting our next edition, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Federico. I think US is ruled out, right? Just European countries. So, Bill, unfortunately, it cannot happen. Next, we go to Laura from Business as Nature. And Laura, we know that women are disproportionately affected by climate change. I know Paula was just referring to that. And they are socially and economically more vulnerable at the global level, women, to climate change. In climate professions, professions, women are underrepresented, represented. But according to a recent World Bank article, data shows that female employees and leaders are more prone to act on climate change or climate issues. How do you feel that women working on climate-related issues can impact the priorities and strategies defined by companies and governments? And what is the role of green jobs in mitigating this disparity?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here in this panel, also talking about such an important topic for us at Business as Nature. For the ones that don't know and don't know about Business as Nature, we are a Portuguese NGO founded in 2019 by a group of inspiring women from different backgrounds, but all of them with a common goal and a common purpose, which is fighting the climate change while empowering women and emphasizing the role of women in this transition. So basically, along our journey, we've been developing different projects across Portugal and also in other speaking Portuguese countries, but because we believe that with education, with looking to the gaps and understanding where are the gaps, we can promote inclusion and foster that more women and more young women feel that they can be part of this transition. So, as you said earlier, when we look at studies show that women are one of the social groups that are mostly affected by climate change, especially in countries where climate disasters have a recurrent activity, and these impacts can happen in different ways, from a social, a political, and also an economical perspectives. So we believe that bringing women to the discussion, bringing women to the table, allowing different challenges to be on the table and spoken is extremely important in companies as well. We still see a shortage of women in board positions. Only 4% of the CEOs globally are women. So we want to be prepared for the challenge. Also, some studies, especially one from the World Bank, shows that also from a financial perspective, it's extremely beneficial for companies to have a diverse workforce, especially in gender diverse workforce. So I believe, and we believe, that Business as Nature, that the green jobs industry has now a platform and the need to restructure themselves so that it can receive everyone and give a stage to everyone to participate. We believe also that representation, having role models, having women that can be mentors, is also extremely important, and that's also what we are trying to foster in our programs.
Thank you. And now we hand over to Mira. Mira, student energy. During the Student Energy Summit, you launched a report, the Energy Transition Skills Report, which, to the best of your knowledge, is the only report addressing youth skills specifically focused on the energy sector. And I think we'll hear a little bit more on the career compass, which I'm curious to know if it links to this or not. This will be good to cross this knowledge. And could you let us know the main conclusions about this report, and where does it? What are the main highlights of this report?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. So Mira, and I was the Student Energy Summit co-chair 2023, which is part of Student Energy, and they're our parent organization in Canada, and it's an NGO that started in 2009. With really a focus on supporting youth, accelerate the energy transition, and they have a network of over 50,000 youth in different places in the world, And similarly, they have chapters in different universities, and we have a chapter at NYU Abu Dhabi, where I'm studying currently. So the report they established and last year really focused on seeing what are the gaps in green jobs, and I think what are the barriers that youth are facing. And some of the conclusions were that at least 47% of youth are just not aware of the opportunities and are really don't know where to look for opportunities that are green jobs. Another thing is that there's definitely a huge skill gap on in terms of like what is the education offered and then what are the jobs are looking for. So there's definitely a gap, and a lot of youth were asking for more inclusive career training programs that really support youth in launching their careers. I think also in the energy, like one of the outcomes of the report was that there isn't really entry-level jobs in the green sector. It's maybe more exclusive to people who are experts in their roles. So I think those are a couple of jobs that are missing that youth really want to see a change in. And I think also, like now, as youth, when we're looking for jobs and we're looking for an organization, it's not just about the job itself. It's more about the values of the organization and the company. So that's a lot of things that like youth are looking for when they're looking for a job, and transitioning from being undergraduate or a student to being a young professional.
Thank you, Myra. And Bill, I hope you don't mind, but I'll swap things a little bit around and I'll go like this for Federico and Laura to talk about the career compass. And Federico, ADENE is developing and actually launched a couple days ago the Energy Transition Career Compass. Can you talk a little bit more about this and how having more information available plays a role in the career of young people and their choices?
Thank you, Elder. So, okay. So this is our booklet from the Energy Transition Career Compass. The Energy Transition Career Compass is a digital platform that we developed in collaboration with the Green Job Tree. And our objective, we identify that young people don't know what to do, don't know where to start their career. I mean, I was also in that position at the beginning of my career. What I knew is just I wanted to go to Brussels. What I wanted to do, I didn't know, so I just went to Brussels. And, but so if you don't know, so we have a skills gap. Okay, we need to secure 40 million jobs by 2050, I think. But how are we going to cover the skills gap if the future workforce doesn't know what kind of jobs are going to be there? And so that's the role of the Energy Transition Career Compass, which is a digital platform. Actually, you can touch it around, and you can see on the first page how it looks like. So imagine the whole green jobs as a tree. So you have built environment, 3 categories: built environment, natural environment, and energy services. And green services. Energy is part of the built environment because it's something that we as humans build. And so this branch of the tree, and within we are collecting 3 steps. We are collecting jobs, so asking, disseminating a survey to collect from young people what jobs they have, what skills they are needed for this job. Because many times I want to be a renewable energy engineer, but what kind of skills do I need to be an engineer? I don't know that. So this is very important to provide young people with the right information. But at the same time, what we want to do in the future is also to provide young people with access to education, because education is not really accessible to everyone. And within the Energy Transition Career Compass, we want to also direct young people to possible educational sources so they can not just learn what a job does, but also learn how what I can learn to be able to do this job, right? And this is the first step, which is collecting feedback from young people. Second step is to build the platform, which we did, and it's launched. You can check it on our website. And the third step is to analyze data, because we are collecting data from young people, but I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to steal the response from Laura. So this project is we launched this project because we believe in one pillar, which is to empower young people, and you don't just empower young people by giving them space on panels, for example, but also by giving them knowledge. And this is very important to bridge the skills gap that we identified.
Thank you very much, Federico. I know, Laura, that you want to talk a little bit more about this energy transition career compass, as you are also a member of ADENE. Please do, but we know that STEM careers or professions, they traditionally have a stronger gender gap. And this, although this is closing, I'd say it's still there. Do you think that such tools can help addressing, tools like this career compass can help to further close this gap and to make it more of a playing field?
So thank you, Federico, for presenting Energy Transition Career Compass. As Elder said, I'm also part of AN, and I'm also involved in the development of this tool. And what I want to point out during the development of our project is that I believe that AN and business as nature are complementary. And I would say this because, for example, when we analyze the data, so to create our database, we delivered a survey and we got around 250 replies on jobs. And in terms of balance and gender balance, we found a good equilibrium, 42% women, 58% men. But the thing is, when we went on detail and critically look at the data, we could see that along the value chain, women are subrepresented in some of those positions. So when we go upstream in the value chain, in this case in the energy and renewables value chain, we see that women are mostly represented in positions such as research and development, policy making. But when we go a little bit down, in the more downstream position of the value chain, we can see clearly a subrepresentation of women in positions of operations, manufacturing, preliminary engineering. So what we do, and what we want AN and this project to be as well, is to find those gaps, those skill gaps, look into more detail where are the gaps, and provide training and courses within the platform. We business nature because we also believe that these types of mindset, these types of skills need to start from an early stage. So at Business as Nature, we promote projects. We have a very called Guardians of the Nature, where we work with kids between 5 and 12 years old, and we try to create this mindset of analytical, creating, of developing, of being innovative from the start. A very hands-on project that we are very proud of, and we mostly focus on circular economy and forest conservation, but we want to give them a broad view of the green jobs, a broad view of the skills they need, and build this mindset of, okay, we can be part, we can do, and more than being part of the green jobs industry, creating new green jobs into the industry. That's what we want, that's what we are working on, and what we will keep on working.
And so, for Bill, we know that there's this natural, I wouldn't say conflict, but there are two sides of the coin. We have upskill and reskill, and we have completely new jobs. We know that, of course, we have young people that can acquire these skills and enter the workforce, but we also have a very significant current workforce that needs to be, I wouldn't call it upgraded, but you sure need to reskill them for them to deliver value to the green transition as well. And if we don't do this, for sure there will be misalignments and we'll have losers and winners, which we for sure don't want. We want this to be just. What in your opinion, how should we avoid this misalignments, and what can we do to prevent them?
Thanks, Eldar. Well, I think the first thing is we have to do both. We have to reskill and upskill. I think as the clean energy transition continues, then many of the jobs that are going to be created, we're not even sure exactly what they are. I think Federico and Laura and some of the work that they just mentioned and that they're doing is extremely good. I think there's a couple of things that certainly as we decarbonize and we move, from utility scale, maybe coal and others to solar and other renewables, wind, there certainly has to be, just upskilling across those people that are currently working in that industry. Certainly don't want to move forward with renewable energy and lose many jobs. So I think we certainly have to have a transition plan there. But in addition, for all the youth, all the students, the universities, and the upcoming engineers, I think it's incumbent upon groups such as AEE to be looking forward to be surveying the industry so that what are the types of jobs and what are those skills that are going to be required. We do a lot of training, we do certification programs to confirm competencies. And one of the things that we do as a part of our certification programs is we gain international accreditations, the ISO 17024, which is a professional standard for certification bodies. And one of the things we have to do is convene subject matter experts on topics from around the world and confirm competencies for these jobs to ensure that the certifications match the requirements from the market and they're confirmed and they're globally consistent, whether you're in Portugal or Spain or Singapore or the US, South Africa, so that these are transferable credentials and they're built on competencies that are confirmed by experts around the world. So I think certainly we have a shortage of women, and it's great that there's initiatives doing there. We have an initiative, CWIL, our Council on Women in Energy and Environmental Leadership, where we work to bring more women into this industry where it's underrepresented. We also have a mentoring program where we do one-on-one mentors with established professionals and those who are newer entrants into the field. But I think it's a combination really of just total people retraining and upskilling those who are already in the industry. So it's going to be a partnership across many different types of groups and coalitions on a local level, on a level, and then on a global level also, to ensure that we have good alignment so that we have a match between those demands in the workforce and the jobs that are out there.
For sure, that transferability you are talking about is actually key to ensure that we meet that we overcome the challenges we are just mentioning. I do want to ask, and this is for all of you, and I think we have a good panel to give a diverse perspective on this. So it will be the same question, but I hope that you guys have short answers to this question. We know that I would say all the current and the future workforce faces uncertainty, that's for sure, with all this shift. And not only in the energy sector, but in other sectors as well. Let's focus on energy sector for now. We know that with this uncertainty, career choices are hard to make. And I'd like to ask you, and with your experience hearing other people from on the younger generation, I'd like to ask you three first. What do you think young people should prioritize, or what do they do? What do they prioritize? And then, Bill, what do you think young people should prioritize?
So I think that so I'm graduating by the end of December, and I think when I'm looking for a job, I'm really thinking about what does the organization or what does the company have to offer, not just as actioning for climate change, but also the environment itself. How clean is the company? How sustainable is the company? That are things that I think young people are looking for when they're looking for a green job. And then what are the actions or what are the plans of this company? Is it planning to aim for net zero, or is it getting sources of energy that are fully renewable? So I think these are questions that we usually think about before applying to a company, and also looking at their sustainable missions. I think after COP28 happened here in the UAE, a lot of companies, public and private, started having a sustainability department, chief sustainability officer that are really trying to make the company itself more sustainable. So I think these are like things that youth are looking for when looking into like jobs and green jobs.
So you mentioned uncertainty, right? So I think what we all need to do is to switch from uncertainty to certainty and to provide young people with more certainty, right? And and not negative certainty, oh you're gonna be doomed, you're not gonna make it, but positive certainty. And we are trying to provide this certainty with our platform, making okay, this is are the array of green jobs you can have. And but I think that the whole industry needs to rethink the way we communicate, also in terms of climate change. And I honestly love the communication campaign in the Portuguese pavilion, which is it enough? Which I also have a pin here because I love it. Um, but maybe one small feedback is the no are very big, right? So is it enough? No, but we can do it, right? So, and when we talk about certainty, it's not just about certainty of my career, like I'm sure I'm gonna grow, but also certainty of that the mission of whatever organization is respected, and the fact that I can recognize myself in the organization. So this is something that I feel is missing. I heard many of my colleagues that are joining, for example, consultancies, and then they don't stay because they don't feel certainty. There's a lot of different projects that are being pushed here and there. So I think we need to really give young people certainty as soon as they join the first job. Otherwise, they're gonna feel a bit lost.
And yes, building on what Federico is saying, this uncertainty, I also believe that students, and me personally, when I started my career just recently, I, I was looking for companies that showed me urgency, more than understanding that there's a climate fight, a climate need and transformation, is the urgency on making those changes. From an internal perspective, so in terms of values, in terms of inclusivity, but also in an external perspective. Where are the investments going? In which direction are companies moving? With who are they partnering? Because it's extremely important, because I want to work in a company that aligns with my values, aligns with my views, but also has this sense of emergency on the work they are doing.
Well, it's certainly good to hear the perspective of the youth, and I think it's all perfect. I think two things that were mentioned is the company, the potential company or organization, what are their vision and their mission? Okay, what are they wanting to do and doing? And I think equal and may not be even the same that I think Mira and Laura mentioned is the values. What are the values of the organization? They can have a very green vision, but what are the values? At AEE, our main two values are people first, and we are a global family. How does a company act internally and externally in their values? So I think those are all excellent comments. I would say, advice I have is I think twofold. First is, as you're entering a career as a student or a young professional, is get involved with a professional network so you can get real world and real life experience from potential peers and future partners. But I think equal is find a mentor, okay? People who have been in their careers, they would love to help provide advice, experience, and guidance as a mentor. So seek out a mentor. You can have multiple mentors throughout your career that can be invaluable. So someone to give advice, sounding board, etc. And never be afraid to ask. We're always just more than happy and willing to serve as a mentor to those who are entering the industry.
Can I just add something? Sorry about disrupting the panel. Now, I think you mentioned something very important, which is network. And what I would like to see more in organization institutions is the creation not just of external events for young people, but also strengthening the internal processes, how you include young people in the company, in the organization. One good example, for example, you see developed in Portugal is youth board, like future boards, that are really contributing to the vision, to the strategy of the organization, because sometimes we need a bit of more ambitions. And I think what young people have is a lot of ambitions. Sometimes we're a bit naive because we're saying something that cannot be achieved. But again, it's always about the compromise. Negotiation is about a compromise. We are aiming for something that is not possible to achieve, but if you aim lower, then it means that the compromise will be low, right? I've been doing pole vaulting in my life. Pole vaulting is when you run with athletics, and you have to set your bar. When you do high jump, okay, I want to do 2 meters, but if you're able to do 180, then you're not gonna ever make it. But the problem, not the problem, the challenge is that there are 180 countries that have to agree on the same level, on the same jump. So some countries will say 2 meters, some countries will say 1 meter and 20. So it's really important that we meet in the middle. And I think this is what youth board, future boards are good to do in pushing companies, institutions, organizations to be more ambitious. Then we can meet in the middle.
Okay, before we end for questions, I just want in one sentence, because we do have 3 regions of the world here. What do you think in your region should be the top priority for companies to retain talent, to develop it?
So I think here in the UAE, there should be more maybe skill building programs to kind of bridge the gap between students starting like from their undergraduate into the career course. And also I think there should be like more campaigns that kind of address like climate action. I think there's limited, I would say, companies in the UAE that are renewable or maybe clean. So I think there should be more of that and kind of listening more to what the youth are looking for.
It might be not popular, but I would say flexibility in terms of job. Like what I feel many times is that young people that have more flexibility within the organization are more keen in staying in the organization. For example, I work in Brussels as an energy market consultant, and in parallel, we also run a youth organization, and this would not be possible if I didn't have this flexibility of also being here. And also my boss is very understanding because he also understands the value of me being here with 2 hats. So I think in Europe now we've seen a lot of people leaving the jobs after COVID because this smart working is cool, I want to keep doing that. So I think we need to really transition, and I know it's not easy from the institutional point of view because there's a lot of security, we need to stay in the office, it's easier to knock at the door. But I think we need to move towards more flexibility. It can be by providing 2 days per week in which they can stay at home, or by providing a short week, so 4 days per week. Now there are other companies that are doing that. And Lamborghini, which is a car manufacturing company, they announced it this week. So this would be my feedback for companies in Europe, institutions as well. But I know it's not easy. But I think this is the future. So the
marketing department started and then went to Spain for 6 weeks, and she was in Argentina, so it doesn't really matter where you are. So I think that flexibility. I think one additional thing that we've seen that is very key, and we've really put more of a focus on recently, is ongoing education and professional development. You may have your professional development, whether it's in management or marketing or dealing with others, and that investment into your teams is a really big thing that I think is in demand.
Well, now we have just some space for questions. There's some question there.
Hello everyone, my name is Hakim, I'm from Malaysia. We do green jobs by training indigenous people and then hiring them for solar-based work. So I'm kind of curious about the outlook of jobs in your region. So in Asia Pacific, for instance, it's primarily you train and they are within the single country that you train them, do you see any job migration between countries in your region? That's number one. And number two, do you guys have anything to talk about when it comes to indigenous job opportunities in the renewable energy space? Thank you.
So I don't have anything specific on indigenous training, but as far as jobs transferring, I think having a globally recognized training and certification program, our certification programs are recognized and required around the world, so that if you gain a certified energy manager in Portugal or in Spain or in South Africa or Jordan or Singapore, it's the same credential with the same competencies, so that is directly transferable across the world.
It's not my place to be, but I'll just add that, for example, in Europe, we do have good examples of efforts trying exactly to accomplish that transferability of skills. So someone that is trained in one part of Europe can then almost automatically be recognized as a qualified worker in other parts of Europe. For sure, globally, it's a bigger effort, and for sure, the benefits are also bigger. We unfortunately are running out of time. I'd like you guys to applaud these amazing speakers here. Thank you very much. And now, just to wrap up, I'll call Ana Paula Rodrigues, our Vice President at ADENE and Bill, to sign an MOU that our agencies just reached.
Thank you very much. So this agreement intends to reestablish the existing partnership between ADENE and ADE. It will contribute to the development of professionals working in the energy and renewables, energy efficiency, water efficiency, and also sustainability areas through access to new training programs and international certification provided by ADE. For ADENE, is it also a time to diversify its training offer and international certification, providing more skills and opportunities for trainees. So I thank you very much and hope we could do a lot of things together.
Thank you, Ana Paula. So we're very excited to sign this memorandum of understanding with ADENE. We have, I think, maybe 100, close to 100 certified professionals with ADE credentials currently in Portugal, and we want to build on that, have industry recognized and transferable credentials, and so we're very excited and look forward to working together to help meet the demand for the growing green jobs that are coming as we expand within the clean energy transition.
Picture.